from Harlan Business and Event Center, nestled in vibrant downtown Jesup, Iowa. Welcome to the cradle of the Bohemian Resistance. We are the underground voice of rebellion and wit. Alongside producer Blake Tempus and warrior poet Dale Rueber on the Marquis of Chatham, Jim Gillespie, and this is the news for December 15th, 2025. We are sharing with the senior center.
Okay.
We get half and they get half.
Okay.
So thanks to the Trinity
I'm going
Tulips.
to Johnston this weekend, and they always have big bags of cans.
Oh.
So I will bring them home.
Oh, good.
All right.
Good. Yes. So thanks to the Trinity Tulip, and make sure that you support those people that support the Steve Brown Arts Center. So Dale, were you naughty growing up?
Right. Oh, yeah. In many ways.
You got in trouble.
Well, I never got in trouble because I was sneaky too.
You were sneaky naughty.
No, every now and then, yes, I was in trouble. Yes.
How did your parents and who was the hammer in your house?
My dad was the hammer.
My mother was the hammer in our house.
Yeah.
I worried about getting in trouble with Mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dad was a tender heart.
Yeah. Well, I didn't worry about Mom wouldn't hit me, and I never was afraid of twice I got in trouble with my father where he came at me pretty good. I didn't think that was too bad. 2 times in all those years, but
no, that's not bad.
I was more. I think with my mother, I didn't want to disappoint her. Traditional guilt. Catholic guilt, even though we weren't Catholic.
Right.
With that, I don't know, but I got in trouble a few times.
Yeah.
Why did you ask? By the way,
how did they discipline you?
Well, I don't remember being disciplined too much. The first time my dad really got mad at me because I was down. My mother was afraid of drowning and that sort of thing. And so she instilled that in her children. And so I was down in the creek. Me and another guy, we stripped down to our underwear. We're out in the street, creek swimming, even though it was only like 2 feet deep or anything. And so I was late getting home at noon. So she sent my older brother after me, and so he dragged me back home. And see, my mother had been very, very worried that I was down by the creek, and so because she was worried, that bothered my father. See,
yeah.
So he slapped me a few times when I came in, and I went to bed without eating anything. See, that was my punishment. But other than that, I don't remember. I never was sent to bed early or deprived of supper, or I don't think I ever was spanked.
Mouth washed out with soap?
No, none of that. So I can't remember anything like that. Just you're just a talking to about what I was doing, and some of my friends' mothers would talk to me too. I mean, it was a village. Tony Wiggert's mother was worried about gambling because there had been some kids losing a lot of money down at the local gas station to some older guys, and we were playing poker with his pennies one day, not for keys. Well, she saw us playing poker, so she started talking to us about the evils of gambling that was going on down there.
Yeah.
Well, I get up to leave, and she said, no. She said, you sit right down here and listen to this too. So we all, we had this group of mothers, a group of kids, so they all took care. So if their kid was getting it, you would get it too.
So how did you discipline your children, Dale?
The same way, mainly just talking. We never spanked them or anything, and never deprived them of supper or anything like that.
Grounded them?
I don't think we even grounded them. And I know our kids, when they were older, friendly flack from their friends because they didn't have a curfew. And we had a pad, notebook, and pencil. And last kid in, you'd sign in when you got home.
Right.
And then the last kid in would lock the doors and turn off the lights and that sort of thing. And, I know when I got started with that because Deb thought about waiting up. And I said, well, we can wait for them just as well while we're sleeping as we can sitting out here looking out the window. And so, and I know one day we woke up and their friends had been at the house. So there was a whole long list of kids that signed our book, which was fun. So they all had fun with it. But no, we just told you need to be in at a reasonable time. And I was very lucky. We had very good kids. You see this where like 20 years later, you see the kids say, well, Dad never knew that we did this and this and this. I haven't had any of that. So I'm assuming that they were as good as I thought they were being.
One time, Dad had me by himself. He threatened me with his belt. And he had to come and get me. and he pulled his belt out of his pants. You know, just a threat. I was spanked. I was grounded. I was yelled at.
Yeah.
I must have been naughtier than you, Dale.
Well, I would imagine so, but I don't know.
But here are the top 5 ways to discipline.
Okay, what year is this?
This is
recent?
This is during the glorious years of you and I.
Oh, okay.
Number 5, the belt.
Yeah.
Number 4, the spanking. I received a spanking. Number 3, grounded. Although I think it might have, I was grounded for a month and ended up grounded 2 days.
Yeah,
I think because it was harder for them than.
It was hard to ground a kid, and if you find you don't want him hanging around that much anyway.
Number 2, timeout. That came into effect right at the end of my middle school era. And number 1, yelled at. My mother. If my mother was angry, she would get after me.
Did you ever get spanked or see anybody at school by a teacher?
Never saw anybody at school get spanked.
Okay, yeah. Well, in kindergarten, I got into a fight with a kid named Larry Davis in the classroom while the teacher was out of the room. So we're rolling in all that, like 5-year-olds fight.
Right.
So I remember she stuck us both in a corner. We had to sit in the corner for the afternoon. And then in first grade, everybody had a little play they did in December.
Right.
12th grade on down. And I remember the first graders, we were doing The Shoemaker and the Elves. Okay? And so we're in the wings, and there's a curtain there, and there's stages on the other side of the curtain. And these girls are out there tap dancing as part of their act. And they were like junior high girls. And so we're down on the floor looking under the curtain. And she just came down the road, smack, 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 right on the cheek. Every one of us that was doing that, because I'm sure she knew that the audience was out there watching us.
Mrs. Robinson was my 2nd grade teacher, Melba Robinson. Wonderful lady, sweet, dressed up every day, in her dress. Yeah. If she would get mad at us, she didn't. She was short. She was about 5 foot tall, and she wandered around the room. The room was in a square. All the desks were pointed in, so she could be inside.
Sure.
That.
Okay. Yeah. And, teaching in the round, kind of.
Teaching in the round. But then, when we would do our homework, she'd get outside and wander around.
Look over your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, if you get off task, pretty soon she'd have your ear in her head, between these 2 fingers, pulling it. Oh, you knew when Mrs. Robinson was angry.
Yeah. We were when I was in 6th grade, and our room was right next to the 7th and 8th grade had a room to themselves, a big room for both classes. And so it was after lunch, and our teacher became ill and left. And so they put us in the 7th and 8th grade room rather than get a sub or whatever. They put us in the 7th and 8th grade room. Well, we no longer get in there, and there was one woman teacher and one man teacher taught 7th and 8th grade. Well, the man teacher and this 8th grade boy get into this fight up in the front. They had a little stage up in front of this big room, and so they're rolling on the floor, punching.
A man teacher
and this 8th grade boy, just fighting like crazy. And so the guy gets control of the kid, gets him out of there down to the superintendent's office or whatever, comes back up, and he said, "Okay, 6th graders, get your social studies books. We're going down to the home ec room." So we were scared to death. We didn't say a word. The whole class was afraid this man to get mad at us. Then we had an 8th grade teacher. It was his first year teaching, and he had a paddle, and he would give swats for certain things. And I learned from this in my own teaching, but it was about halfway through the year, he gave this kid a SWAT, and he said, that must be like 25 of you, he said, for you, so this year so far, he said, whoever gets the most SWATs, we're going to give him this paddle. Yeah. Well, then the competition was on for a lot of these boys to see who could get the paddle. So I learned from that that kind of punishment doesn't do any good.
Right.
So
Dale, those are discipline in your house. Now, here are the 9 most bizarre and brutal, absolutely barmy punishments from history.
All right.
Don't lose heart on this one. This is number 1, the sickening execution of William Wallace.
Okay, yeah.
You saw the movie William Wallace?
And they told at the end how they did him,
The execution of William Wallace was in reality even more lurid and brutal than depicted in the Mel Gibson movie.
Okay.
He was convicted of high treason, and Wallace was taken outside, stripped naked, attached horizontally to a wooden hurdle, drawn by 2 horses across the cobbled streets to his place of execution. Along the route, the masses of rowdy Londoners didn't just throw excrement and pig swill at Wallace as he passed by. Oh no, they actually battered him with heavy sticks, lashed him with whips, and got the boot in where they could. The Scottish knight was barely alive when the horses pulled him into the elms. Still naked, Wallace was made to climb an especially high scaffold before undergoing the standard half hanging. Nearly dead, Wallace was taken down and emasculated. For you, those of you keeping score at home, that's where they removed the genitals. This was a typical part of the punishment for high treason for centuries and was not an unusual penalty for other crimes as well. King Henry I of England, for example, summoned some of his moneyers to Winchester on Christmas Day, 1125. Here he savagely punished them for making dodgy coins. One by one, he had all 94 men emasculated and their right hands cut off. That's number one. Next, Wallace had a large, deep opening carved across his stomach. They weren't done with him. Remember, he was half hanged and then emasculated. So they cut an opening across his stomach. The executioner reached in and pulled out his guts for all to see before chucking those into a bonfire. Each organ was removed one by one and shown to the cheering crowd. Dale won't sleep tonight. No. Wallace would have been alive, though, through much of this process. He was then beheaded and body cut into 4 pieces, the bloodied bits being displayed around Britain. The last person to receive the full horror of this ancient punishment in use in England from the time of the Normans was convicted spy David Tyree in 1782.
Oh, wow. Clear up till then.
Yeah. Another thing they had in England was an outfit called the Whirligig. During the War of 1812, American officer Henry Dearborn was a commander of an army barracks in Albany, New York. The myriad measures he employed for discipline among his men was a bizarre punishment called riling the Whirligig. The Whirligig was a large cage that was attached to the center to a post in the ground. The post was made to turn and would spin the cage at an incredible speed. It was intended to humiliate the guilty person and to carry out the sentence. Never failed to draw a large crowd of soldiers and camp followers. Typical injuries suffered included dislocated bones, cuts and bruises, and unconsciousness from spinning in many cases. Severe mental illness resulted from prolonged rides on the Whirligig. Yeah. A place in the sun. You've seen these little cages they would place on the sand. They would place your body in the sand and place you a cage over top your whole body. Mm-hmm. The cage was so tight that even the bones couldn't be removed. That was another one. The 40-day nightmare punishment. One of the most brutal and repulsive judicial punishments ever devised is surely concocted by, what was this family's name? And the same family that ruled during the Renaissance.
Well, like the Borgias, or
yeah,
so something
one
like
of
that.
those families.
Yeah.
The savage pyramid scheme involved gouging out of eyes, cutting off. So every day they would do something different. Then they would give you a day to rest so that you would live. So they'd start like gouging out of eye. Rest a day, cut off the nose. Rest a day, cut off the lips. Rest a day, cut off the ears. Rest a day. Lop off arm. Rest a day. Chop a leg off. Rest a day. Flay you. Rest a day. Dislocate the joints. I mean, everything possible.
And what was that a punishment for, does it say? Or just...
Device concocted an edict when they gained power in Milan. A program of horrendous public torture.
I suppose anybody that opposed them, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Oh, man.
Oh, the goat torture. They would lay you down, put salty water on your face, and goats love salt. Mm-hmm. And the goat, or not on your face, on your feet. And the goats would lick your feet, and you would die of being tickled, basically.
Yeah, because they have a rough tongue, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And, oh man.
Yeah.
I have sensitive feet. I would hate that. So
those are just some ways in which disciplined criminals in the past.
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes before break here. let's get in Mason's top 69 to 60 songs for the week.
All right.
From number 69, ACD's Hell's Bells.
Okay.
I had a friend that lifted weights by AC/DC. Hated AC/DC.
I wasn't real familiar with their. They came along a little late for me.
Yeah.
So.
Number 68, Beach Boys. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
You can sing that all day. You
could.
That is good. I like that song.
Number 67, The Doors, Roadhouse Blues. Number 66, Garth Brooks, Rodeo.
Okay, I heard that.
Yeah. Number 65, Foreigner, Feels Like the First Time. 64, Journey, Wheel in the Sky. I don't know that one.
I don't think so. Maybe if we heard it, we might.
Yeah. Number 63, Pink Floyd and Time.
Okay, I'm not sure how that goes.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah.
Number 62, the Hudson Brothers, Rendezvous.
I don't know that.
Old Mace is kicking our butt this week.
Yeah, he really is.
Number 61, AC/DC for Those About to Rock.
Okay.
I can just.
So all we have is Help Me, Rhonda so far.
Yeah. And number 60, Fog Hat and Fool for the City.
Okay. Again, some of these I may have heard, but I don't know the title.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of those are by artists that I listen to on any kind of regular basis. So if I heard the song, it'd just be by accident someplace.
Yeah.
So.
Next week we get into the 50s.
Okay. Well,
these are Mason Fox top 100 songs. Shout out to Mason. He's a great listener.
How old is he?
Mason, I believe, he might be in his mid-20s somewhere.
Okay, well,
but
the chances are he and I are far apart.
Yeah.
But he listens, though, to older songs.
He does.
Yeah, he's a big... So I have faith that he'll give me something.
He's going to rally.
As we get down... Because, of course, the better songs are going to be those songs from the 60s and 50s, right? So
yeah, that's
we got to
right.
get down closer to one to hear those.
That's right.
Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. All right.
This is Steve Brown Arts Center. We'll be right back. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we're in beautiful downtown Jesup. Don't forget, next week we will be coming to you live from Joe's Pizza in Jesup, Iowa.
Right.
We have 3 artists: Piper Zelli, Billy Joe Shell Oldakowski, and John Decker, as well as musician Tim Kemmerer at Joe's. Plus, I was just talking to Joe before we went on air. Joe is giving away 100 free slices of pizza, so make sure you get down before Blake, Dale, and I eat the first 85 pieces. No, I used to be able to eat probably an extra large pizza on my own.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I ate 2 slices out of an extra large, that's a lot for me anymore.
It is.
Yeah, and usually when I get a small one, usually I'll eat 3 of the small pieces.
Yeah.
And sometimes just 2, depend. But yeah, I can remember as a kid buying those frozen pizzas.
Yeah.
You know, they're about the same size as a small, and eating the whole darn thing.
Oh, you bet.
And then looking at the label, see how many calories there were. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. But yeah, I could eat a whole one.
I'm ashamed to say, Dale, on a day like today where it's windy and cold and snowy, I'd eat 2 of those.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Just bad habits.
Yeah.
Bad habits. But anyhow, we're at Joe's Pizza. That is December 17th from 5 till 7. Come down for music, for art, and for pizza.
Right.
And we might even get you on the podcast if Blake will let us. So
he's pretty fussy, isn't he, about who he lets use his microphone?
He is. Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man. Thank goodness we got him. Remember, we're also sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza Lobster. The Phils are kind sponsors of the podcast. Include them at your wedding, graduation, or festival plans. Don't wait. Their schedule's filling up for 2026. They're sponsoring a traveling art show for the Steve Brown Arts Center. Thanks to them for including that traveling art show. What do you think Iowa State not going to a bowl, turning down a bowl?
Yeah, well, I didn't realize it would cost them that much money.
How much did it cost?
$500,000.
Yeah.
Maybe it was someone from the Big 12, but the Big 12 conference has contracts with these bowl saying we will provide a team. And when they don't provide a team, they have to pay. So Iowa State, yeah. But the Iowa State, the line is that the players said, we have so many guys hurt that we cannot practice effectively and play effectively in this game, and so we just don't think we should do it. And which I was surprised the administration went along with the players' wishes. So, and with the coaching change and with the kids feeling that way, there's no sense, if you're not going to play effectively, then you're cheating all the people that pay to watch that game in person or watch it on television or whatever. So I don't know. If you know the whole truth, you say, yeah, so it's okay, but there may be lots of stuff we don't know too. See, that seems like it.
So should those guys give back the NIL money since they're not give back some NIL money?
Yeah, well, I don't know. What percentage of the NIL money would you ask for just because they didn't go to a bowl game? Because if they didn't qualify for a bowl game, they would not have to give any money back.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
So, and the university, they have the money to pay the fine, or else, through their athletic budget, or else they would not be so easy going about it. They would have fought harder to get them to play.
Yeah.
So the money must be there. The way they're paying these coaches and stuff, I just can't.
Paying the guy, Archie Manning's getting like $6.4 million to go be quarterback at Texas.
Yeah. Well, Rueber, my favorite baseball player, he re-signed with Philadelphia 5 years for $150 million. I thought it was good for him to stay with Philadelphia. And, they like him there, and he likes it there. So, but he's been averaging. I think since they got him, he's averaged 46 home runs a year for them, and so they were anxious to keep him, and so the money it's just out of sight. Somebody talk about how much do you think Taylor Swift's bachelorette party will cost, or how much will that wedding cost? How much money will they spend on that big wedding? And so I guess it's their money; they can spend it the way they want to. But there's a lot of things out there that need help. So.
There are, but in the same sense, you're right. There's a lot of money out there, Dale. Like you say, people have earned that money.
I think they had a count the other day of how many billionaires there are in the world. And I think there's over 300 billionaires. I try to get the numbers right now, but more than a third, I think, were Americans. A large number of them were Americans that have worth over $1 billion. And so, we have lots of them that have multiple billions of dollars. And if you want to do something fun, sit down and figure out how much more is a billion than a million.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll just blow your socks off, because it's just a tremendous amount. I like those illustrations. Okay, if you had $1 million bills stacked one on top of the other, and then you put $1 billion beside it, how much farther would it go? That sort of thing. It's a real illustration. It's just a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
See, people are buying. I was at Casey's and they had to wait in line. People are buying Powerball tickets. Boom, boom, boom. Because it's almost. I guess they said if nobody wins it today, then the next time it'll be $1 billion kind of jackpot, and that's a lot of money. That'd be a lot of work too to take care of that.
It would be. You'd have to
be
hire
responsible
somebody.
for. I bet Blake works at a bank now. He could just full-time our financial advisor. So
I've got a plan. I've got a plan.
All right. Well, don't spoil it by telling me, because I want to be surprised.
Someday I'll tell everybody my plan.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, Dale. What do you have? What do you have for
I got a
us?
few things today. You can watch basketball yet this coming week. The girls and boys playing doubleheaders. On the 16th, they're at Sumner Fredericksburg. The girls and then the boys. And then on the 19th, Union comes to Jesup. And then on the 16th and 19th, also the boys will be playing at that time. And I wanted to talk. I got this flyer. The Jesup Community Blood Drive is at the First United Methodist Church on Tuesday, December 17th, from 12 to 6. If you're ever given blood, you need a photo ID or your Red Cross ID card or this sort of thing. But they're doing this in honor of a little boy named Aaron Butters, and I'll try to get the disease name right. But see, Aaron was diagnosed with nephroblastoma and KCD stage 3B2. I'm saying 3B. 2 days before his adoption, which was in August 12, 2023. During this time, it was discovered that he was born with one kidney, and there was a tumor that took up more than half of this kidney. His kidney was the size of a grown man's fist, and the tumor was the size of what a kid's kidney should be. So apparently the kidney was very swollen, and then there was a big tumor inside of it that was, I'm sure, making it bigger. He did 11 radiation treatments, 31 chemo infusions. He finished his chemo treatment on March 12, 2024. On July 5, 2024, he was declared in remission. So due to the cancer spreading into its collecting system, he now has 1/4 of a kidney. November 16 marks Aaron's 1-year anniversary for his partial nephrectomy. Yeah, something like that. Nephrectomy, that could be surgery. It was a surgery he had. Aaron has received many blood transfusions during his journey and will most likely require more in the future with his next big fight, kidney transplant. So he's going to need a kidney. Hosting a blood drive in his honor by giving back with one of the most impactful parts of his journey means so much to our family. Without blood, Aaron wouldn't be here. It's nice as a longtime blood donor. These are the kind of stories that make you feel glad that you do give blood. You know, for this little boy, can you imagine? Because I know of adults that have had chemo treatments and radiation treatments, and it just makes them sick. And you can imagine what this little boy has gone through, and to be just a couple years old and gone through all of that. So anyway, even if you've never given blood before, you should try and go up and do it. You need a photo ID or your Red Cross blood donor card, and you can call Yvette Vogel. They have a number here, but if you email me or talk to me or something, I can give it to you. It's 319-269-8209. I like her as the blood lady because she has lots of fruit trees. And so when you go give blood, she'll have apple crisp and cherry crisp and peach crisp and ice cream along with the, And so it's not just like a cookie they got in the old days. And so a lot of people go for that warm crisp.
Oh, that is wonderful.
But the scary thing is you go to a blood drive and you see the same people you've seen for the last 50 years. And all of them are, 75, 80 years old now or more. The younger people are not giving blood for one reason or another. And you think about how many units of blood this kid needs. It's a huge need out there for blood. And so if you can, think about this. If you're so inclined, call and make an appointment and go to the church on Tuesday, December 17th in the afternoon, 12 to 6, and give a pint of blood. And so it's not nearly as hard. There's one little pinprick and that's it, and I know there are people that have needle problems and also that if you take certain medications you can't. There's lots of reasons why you can't give blood, but I think less than 3% of the population does give blood. So if you can, you should join them because you're just one split second away in a car wreck or someone needing some blood yourself.
Yeah, and so, that's right. That's so anyway,
think about that on Tuesday.
What else do you have for us, Dale?
Well, I was going to talk to you about the worst Christmas songs. And I told you before.
Humbug.
I told you before the show, so you would be thinking about these. And I just narrowed down. There's several lists out there, and a lot of them are songs. Like one was a Christmas song that Cyndi Lauper sang, and they didn't like the way she did it, and so that was, I don't know that song and how she did it, and so, but the top two are songs that both of us have heard on the radio many, many times.
Okay.
And so you should know what they are. And so there's number 1 and number 2 worst Christmas songs. This was USA Today took this poll, or I don't know how they did it, but this survey or whatever. So you got any ideas?
I'm gonna say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the second worst song, and Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer is the first worst song.
Okay, well, Rudolph, that's one of the most beloved songs of all time. That didn't even make the worst list, but Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer was number 2.
All right.
Was number 2. That's very good. And they said the couple that wrote that song, they had a business. They sold the business to get the money to make the video or the tape or whatever they did. This is in 79, so it's almost 50 years ago, and put all the money they had into this, and I imagine the royalties have made them wealthy over the years.
Yeah.
They didn't say that, but I imagine that it did. But it was a husband and wife, wrote this song and performed it, got it out there, and they play it, it's played thousands of times every year. And I always thought, you think about White Christmas. The guy that wrote that song, 16 lines, not that hard. I always think, I could have written that, But anyway, how much money that has generated him and his family over the years, as long as he has the copyright, because, that's in movies and plays and on the radio all the time and computer played and this sort of thing. So
is that number 1?
No, that's one of the greatest. No, number 1, believe it or not, was the Chipmunk song, Christmas Don't Be Late with Simon, Theodore, and
I don't know.
Alvin.
I'm Alvin.
Yeah, Alvin.
Oh, Dale, I tell you, I've got to be honest, and I'm going to I used to break the kids' hearts. I was never, as a basketball coach, I just hated Christmas break. Because everybody, including the coach, wanted to go home and eat for 5 days.
Yeah.
And then everybody'd be surly when they come back because I had to run that off
Yeah.
of them. A side story on that, remember Kenny Arnold played for Lute Olson?
Sure.
He went home for 4 days for Thanksgiving, gained 26 pounds. True story.
Got away from the training team.
Yes, he did.
I got to tell you, they were talking about the Chipmunk song.
Yep.
And how it was voted, the worst Christmas song ever. They said the thing was #1 for 2 weeks on the charts and got 2 Grammy Awards that year. So this is the song they say is the worst one ever. It's a Grammy Award-winning song. And so I thought that was funny.
I can hear those critters singing it right now, Dad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, one time, and I will tell you who I did this to, but it's Christmas and that song came on the radio, and I said, they had to try out over 500 chipmunks before they found 3 that could sing like that, and they said, oh, really? And I thought that was so funny, but you can lose friends doing that kind of stuff. I thought, oh, really?
All right, Dale. When do you think? I always keep track of this every year.
All right.
I always write this down.
Okay.
What was the date of this year's first Christmas ad on television do you think that I saw?
I would even say like the 1st of November, somewhere in there.
September 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's way early.
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
My stomach just gets tense over
Yeah.
Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you think about Christmas as what it's supposed to mean and about what it does mean, it's just, and I do not get excited about the gifts. It's fun to buy presents for little kids and that sort of thing, but after they get a certain age, in our family, we're lucky. Nobody needs anything, and if they have a need, your parents go out and buy it for them. And so as grandparents, all you can do is buy them junk or give them money or whatever. So we just, everybody in the family, there's 15 of us, buys one gift, like a grab, and then you just get a present, and then you open it, and you can trade or swap or steal or whatever. And it's fun, but it's not, I've wanted this all my life. You don't get that kind of present.
No.
But you get them like, what is this used for? It's a lot of but anyway, so that's what we do for fun. So just for the gift giving experience. But keeping greed out of your children's lives should be your first priority as a parent or even as a grandparent, because greedy people, they're never happy. And they do a lot of damage. So
forgive me if I told you this. If I told the audience this last week, forgive me. I went and got my yearly haircut a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, okay.
And the barber I went to, she asked me if I was ready for Christmas, and I said humbug, and she said, I'm not getting my kids any Christmas presents this year. Mm-hmm. I thought, good for you. She said, what we're doing is, and I haven't told them yet, I'm just going to tell them the day that we're leaving.
Yeah.
I've got a house on the beach down in Florida for a week. They're going to go spend Christmas on the beach in Florida.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I think so.
Yeah.
I heard a guy say today, 100% of black men that have their head shaved, completely bald, look really, really good. 50% of white guys that get their head shaved way down, they look like the cadaver on NCI. And I didn't think of you, of course, but I could have, I thought that was funny because it is interesting, I guess. I'm good.
All right. Well, this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we'll be right back. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and we're back for the third half of our show. And just a few announcements. Don't forget, as we talked about earlier, we have a show next week at Joe's Pizza in Jesup. It's December 17th from 5 until 7. We are showing local artists Piper Zully. We are showing Billy Joe Shell Oldakowski, and we're showing John Decker. And then local guitarist and singer, and you can go on YouTube and check him out. Tim Kimmer will be playing for the night as well. It's going to be quite an evening. That's from 5 to 7. Then to put the cherry on top, Joe is giving away free pizza. 100 slices for the first 100 people that walk in the door. So
Yeah.
make sure you get in there and get a chunk of pizza. And people make fun of me. I call it a chunk.
A chunk.
Get a chunk of pizza.
We also divide the world into 3 halves. We actually do a show and a half every day.
That's right. We do a show and a half every day.
Here's
Your
the 3
question.
halves. Yeah.
So here's a question for you, Dale.
All right.
So a pizza slice is like this.
Uh-huh.
So for the audience, you can see it. Triangle. If a pizza slice could walk, would it walk? First off, what's the bottom and what's the top of that slice?
Well, to me, the bottom is the across the two.
Right here, the top,
Yeah,
right here.
That's the top. So
That's-
that would be
that's
the
the
bottom.
bottom.
That'd be the bottom. If you held it, if you wanted it to stand up, you would put the wide part down, going up towards the pointy part to the top.
So
You're upside down there. See.
So to me, if it could walk, this would be the shoulders. This would be the top. The legs would be down here, and it would be walking, and that would be the shoulders up there.
Yeah, but see, those legs meet at the bottom, so they can't walk anyway.
Well, it happens. Well, my legs meet at the bottom, and they walk.
Well, you put your feet together without him trying to walk. So now this thought just came to your mind, right, about a pizza slice?
Yes.
Okay, and so this is the kind of stuff you think about.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I think people need to know that about
Yes,
you.
yes, they do.
Okay.
All right. Don't forget also.
Next week, maybe I will look into the history of pizza in some way. Maybe don't you do that. I will try to
Okay.
find some information about pizza that will amaze you, I'm sure.
Thank you.
So audience quit eating Joe's Pizza then because they hear about what pizza really is, but I will not do that. So, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Don't forget also, we're showing Billy Joe Shell Olikowski at M's Coffee for the month of December. M is a great supporter of the Steve Brown Arts Center. And
See, another candidate was in her coffee shop not so long ago, was in the paper.
Yeah.
Got her picture taken with some other famous celebrity. So
yes. I listened to him. I listened to him a little bit. He didn't pass the smell test for me.
Oh,
I
okay.
asked him about some things that I'm for, and he wasn't for it.
Yeah.
So he didn't pass. Another thing, don't forget the 24-hour Mustang camera sponsored by Joe's Pizza
Joe's
and
Pizza,
Independence.
that's right.
Joe was telling me he was on a cruise during the blizzard, and he watched on his computer, watched that camera on the computer as it snowed.
isn't that something?
Yeah, neat story. Also, we are headed toward 2026, and we need 12 artists. I've got 7 artists right
Oh, we found
now.
another one. Okay.
Yep, I've got 7, and we are looking to get, and I think I made a deal tonight for an 8th one before I came to town. One of our painters, Garrett Ficken, is also a photographer.
Okay.
And I think we're going to show his photos. He's been to Iceland. He sent me some pictures of Iceland. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
And he wants to show that.
Okay.
So, but he may be the 8th artist. In the Steve Brown Arts Center, we may show in December of next year. We have probably around 30 pieces at home that we can show. So we may show those, just show a variety of artists then
Okay.
in December. Well, unless somebody steps in and surprises us. Also, we are headed toward a rather unique night out in Independence that I haven't told Dale and Blake about because I'm waiting for the okay from the owner before we do it.
Okay.
Rather unique one.
Okay.
All right, Dale, do you have anything else for us tonight?
No, I'm good. I think so.
If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for an event, go to the SteveBrownArtsCenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@SteveBrownArtsCenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. If you'd like to give blood, let me know and I can set you up with Dale. I can get you Dale's number, email, and get you in contact with that.
You can visit redcrossblood.org also and get all the information if you want to just do it that way too. So
Very good. I'm Jim Gillespie with co-host Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus. Our thanks as always to Kelly C. Haas and Heartland Business and Events Center for hosting us and sponsoring us. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your life, and remember, each day is about little victories.